Hey Capricorn, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. We take what works, leave what doesn't. And if I don't catch your storyline or wavelength here, check your other major placements. All right, just thinking about how intense your readings have been lately, and I'm really hoping for a little bit of a break for you guys here, but we'll see what the cards. I mean, I don't want to tell you you have a break when you don't. So we'll see what the cards come up with. Okay. Okay, just two from Urban Crow. Well, we've got release, letting go of something. Something you've been clinging to, maybe an expectation, an outcome. You'll know what it is. We all have things we need to release that would be healthier for us. We'd be able to move forward in our lives much more openly and much better if we were able to let go of something and to release something. So there's a need to release. There may even be several people that need to release something, need to leave something behind, but you're the only one you can control, and we can barely control ourselves, but you're just in charge of your path in your life. So this releasing, letting go of something, letting go of maybe even a disappointment or a pattern. There's so much to be let go of, right? I want to say quitting something. Which is interesting because that's just a really interesting idea with this release card. Quitting is super important. It's a very important skill. You know, we got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. If you don't ever fold them, if you don't ever quit something, if you don't ever let go of this thing that you wanted to accomplish, if you don't ever do that, you lose your whole life savings in the poker game, right? You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. So that's what I see here. I wouldn't want to tell you to quit, everything or quit something. But there is a possibility here that you need to entertain, that it's time to let go of something, so time to quit something, releasing and letting go of something. So that's interesting. I don't really get that message with release, but that's what I'm hearing today, is knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them. And then speaking of the poker game, we've got the bad influence here. Somebody's influencing someone else's behavior. And she's very clear here that it's not like the most healthy thing in the world, right? But we can influence each other, and either being open to being influenced by somebody else for a positive way, or being aware of your influences on somebody else. So she's just, I guess it's easier to talk about the bad influences, someone that talks us into doing something that maybe wasn't a great idea, or something like that. But I think just being aware of how the people, I was going to read the book, but I don't feel it anymore. I think just being aware of how the people around us do influence us, right? People who tend to see more negatives in a situation can influence us to see more negatives, can have us feeling like things are really negative and things really aren't going to work out. And people that are more positive. I know my life has been completely changed by people that are much more positive, and not in a fake way, not in a like, okay, this is great way, but when things aren't great, but an understanding, and they bring an understanding to everything where, things can work out, even though it doesn't look like it right now. And hanging out with that energy really uplifts my own, and really makes staying in our own more positive energy a lot easier when the people around you are supporting that behavior. So really thinking about the influence you have on other people, and the influence other people have on you, and what direction does that go? Are we uplifting each other, or are we dragging each other down, right? Like anyone that quits like drinking, or quits, a certain lifestyle. I'm thinking of, someone I knew on painkillers, and when they decided to leave that situation, they needed all new friends, because everyone they knew did that, and that was how that community had been formed, and that was what their friendships were based on. So, and I know the same is true for alcohol. That's why you want to sponsor and you want to go to AA, because those are all people that can help influence you. Because most likely, if you have a habit or something that you need to quit or release, most likely a lot of the people around you, that you've built around you, that community that you've built around you of people, are more are more attached to that behavior or that situation. So if there is something you want to quit, oftentimes you do need to find like a new group, and that's why, you know, AA can be so helpful, mostly because a lot of times it's because you have a whole community influencing you in another direction, and you have you rebuild your influences, the people that you gather around you. You have to rebuild all of that. So that's what I'm seeing here is really thinking about how you influence others and others influence you. And so sometimes when we're in our own communities, or we're in these worlds where, you know, everybody has a drink to celebrate, everybody has a drink to mourn, everybody has a drink when they're having a good day, everybody has a drink, it feels like that's the norm. But once you break out of that, you realize that that's not that norm, and that thinking, it only felt like it was at the time because it was for that group that you were with. But there are lots of other communities and lots of other people. So you know, really thinking about influences in your life and how you influence other people, and letting go of something, possibly even quitting something. All right, Capricorn. Doing a traditional tarot cut here, pretending to be you. If we were in person, you'd cut the deck yourself. All right. Well, this Knight of Materials is really making the rounds. So is this Ten of Emotions. A lot of these cards I've seen already. I love that. There's something collective about what we all go through, I think. And there's something, yeah, when those cards show up, it helps. I don't know. I feel that connection between all of us, that maybe we all do not necessarily go through the same things, but there are themes and threads that run through, of commonality that run through all of our lives and sort of weave us together. In your recent past, we have Five of Inspiration. This is interesting. This would be Five of Wands. This would be people not seeing eye to eye, people not doing any amount of self-reflection, people having all sorts of, and to see, not any, but like not being able to reflect on how they might be coming across, not being able to reflect on how, what, you know, it talks about conflict, usually the Five of Inspiration. So we're talking about, like, you know, and in conflict, there are all these layers in every conflict of subconscious issues that may or may not be acknowledged. And then the proximate issue that we're actually discussing and debating. And then there's also the strategies of how to get what you want. So there's like all different layers that go on here. And without self-reflection, conflicts can get really embedded without any self-reflection about what are our subconscious issues, and what are our strategies. Those are the two parts that usually go unacknowledged and unseen, where we have like the issue where we can do the tit for tat and the witty little comebacks and the witty digs and all of that in a conflict. So this talks about Five of Inspiration, very clearly talks about conflict. Also talks about all of the different strategies and motivations that go undiscussed and unexamined. So part of the conflict is the different parties involved being unwilling to examine themselves, unwilling to look themselves in the mirror, or to see the broader picture, to see the broader perspective, and even to be able to see themselves in a way where and what they're contributing, and what maybe their subconscious issues are, and what maybe their strategies are. Because like we were talking about with this influence, your strategy may seem very obvious to you, and like obviously everyone does that, but the truth is everybody has very different strategies. Even if we all want the same thing, we all have a different way of going about doing that. So there's like maybe an inability to acknowledge that other people have their strategies, other people have their motivations, other people have their subconscious issues. And also this conflict can be deepened by an inability to look at our own, what we bring to the situation, our own, the way we influence the situation with our subconscious issues and with our strategies that we think are so normal and so acceptable and so obvious, and they may not be to the other person. They may not even understand that strategy at all. That may never occur to them. So in your recent past, we have a lot of conflict that involves subconscious issues and people not being able to self-reflect or to see a bigger picture through that self-reflection. So in your current situation, we have Six of Voices. So this is our Six of Swords, are moving on, moving towards something. This one, where you've been, is really painful and really sucks. You may not know how to get to the next place, where to go, how to go there, but you know you're going. That's the only thing you know in this card. Six of Voices in this deck is really beautiful because it talks about a divine presence that is with you as you make these decisions. See, she's trying to go from this land to that land. This land she's done, she's over with. The way is very difficult, but there's the Six of Swords, the Six of Voices always talks about help. Either divine help or help from others. There's some help, there's some bridge that your decision is to leave this. The bridge arrives as you decide to leave, as you decide to move forward away from something that's painful and difficult and not working for you. As you decide that, the bridge appears and the bridge arrives. This could be divine. This could be other people coming into your life, allowing you to bridge this gap here that seems insurmountable, that seems impossible, that seems just that it can't happen. But your decision is the only thing you're deciding in this is, I don't want this anymore and I want to leave. I'm leaving this. I don't know where I'm going. I don't care where I'm going. This decision, this clear decision, allows the divine and allows others to come in to help you, right? To help you bridge some sort of gap. But it's almost like the decision itself is so powerful to say that a big no to this. No to this. I will not do this anymore. I'm leaving. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to get there. I don't know anything about that. But it's such a powerful decision to just be very clear, not this. The help arrives. The help arrives when you make that kind of powerful decision. The universe likes that, likes to hear that. I am not accepting this situation anymore. This is unacceptable. And then and the help arrives either through, either through allowing you to tap into an inner strength that you did not know you had, or bringing helpers and other people in. Okay, now we know what you want. Now we can help. Now it's like the universe kind of waits for you to have that level of determination, that level of risk taking, that level of being able to work for self-preservation, to help yourself in that way. And once it sees that, it sends something. It will send help. You have to be open to receive that help. You can't say, it doesn't start with, I want help, or show me the next step. It starts with, leave this not, and I'm just going. And that's the Six of Voices, is I'm just going, and I don't care if it's into the dark. I don't care if it's into the abyss. I don't care about that. I just not this. So that's when the help can arrive. And it is a very powerful moment. So I really like that, especially given some of our past readings, which I don't know how it relates personally to you, but given some of these past readings, there's something that's just been really difficult, and you're ready to move on and you don't care where. But you'd like to have an idea. This is your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape. You'd really like to have an idea. This is Ace of Voices, looking for some sort of inspiration, looking for clarity, looking for an epiphany that shows you the next step, that brings the next step, or brings where you need to go and the plan into focus. So that's where you're hoping for some sort of inspiration, some sort of clarity, a clear understanding, or maybe even also a clear communication about what's happening, what's going on, and looking for an initiation of a conversation, or just some sort of inspiration, some sort of inspiration about what next. You're looking for clarity, clear thought, a clear idea, a clear vision, a clear, and maybe even beginning a clear conversation here with someone else that you need information from. What's at issue here? 10 of emotions reversed. So a lot of unhappiness. This normally would be like sort of, even in this one especially, I see a group activity, some sort of community or some sort of group that had a lot of potential, that you were expecting a lot of happiness and fulfillment from, and instead it's sort of like the happy pool got drained, and now it's just a concrete hole in the ground. So the happy pool got drained, and all of the happy emotions and joy from this situation is just gone. This is not happy. This is misery. Very miserable situation. You were hoping it would be done by now. You were hoping it would be over. See, I just see this, like, all of these people and their happiness just draining out of the pool here. And so, yeah, you were hoping to work, you were hoping for happiness and fulfillment, but instead you have found exactly the opposite here. Right? This is why this decision is sitting here presenting itself to you. Just done with something. It was not as fulfilling as you wanted. There's been no achievement of fulfillment here. This has not been pleasant, enjoyable. Nobody's happy. There's just a sense of misery here, and a drained energy. And anytime we get the emotions in reverse, there's a sense of being drained. Then in your environment, we have the Magician. The Magician here. All the elements being present for change. So just waiting for the electricity to hit our Frankenstein monster of happiness, I guess. But just all the elements have been assembled for this to happen. And there's a sense of something magical happening, something exciting happening. And maybe you can't see it. Maybe you don't understand the energy, but there's a magician here. There's someone here that's conducting the energy, that's bringing the energy into a situation to make it come alive, to bring some sort of change here, to change. And it's about physicality. The magician is working between two worlds. The magician is working with energy and bringing that energy into the 3D, into your physical reality. There's something about energy becoming manifested here. Something about the energy coming in here. All the physical elements are aligned. So you have a lot of alignment in your life. You have a lot of physical things that are lining up. Like, this help here is showing up. It's showing up, and there's a need for you to bring the energy and the intention to it. The energy and intention to the situation. There could be someone in your environment that can help you with that, showing up as an assist here in these changes that you want to make. Or there could just be an alignment, and all it's waiting for is your intention. But everything's ready. Everything's waiting. We're just waiting for the energy, the electricity of pure intention to come in. That's what it seems like with this release 2 here, and the 6 of voices, and the intentionality of that decision, a choice to not engage with a past behavior or situation anymore. And this magician is telling me it's all lined up. Everything's ready. Everything's ready to go for that energy to come in. In your current situation, or not your current situation, in your to-do list, the energy, the activity where your greatest growth lies, what you're looking to interact with, what you're looking for an opportunity to interact with, is Knight of Materials. This is slow, seeing the patterns, seeing and understanding the patterns, and taking baby steps towards them. So seeing the pattern and taking small communications. The Knight of Materials is super slow moving, super methodical, really sits, watches the situation, sees the situation, understands it, and then makes a very precise move. understands the situation, recalibrates. It's like I'm seeing a safe, someone opening a safe, and it's like, okay, we got to go to the 27. Click. Okay, now what's next? Next is the what do we got here? The 6. Okay, so now we're going to be very precise, right? You don't sloppily spin the wheel and just hope it opens. There's something about precision here, and something about clarity, and something about methodical watching, understanding, seeing, making a move, hitting that piece right there. So it's very slow. We're not rushing through this. We're not careening around. We're not sloppy. We're not, there's something very precise about what you're doing. And the Knight of Materials is still learning. It's still learning a lot, but you're paying very close attention. There's something very much about intention here. You're paying very close attention, and you're watching the results of each little action and what happens. And so there's something methodical, intentional, and attentional. Like you're paying attention, and each move is made with a clear intention. And with this 5 of inspiration here, I want to say also, we're talking about intentions, understanding your subconscious issues, understanding the strategies, understanding all of the different elements involved, and trying to, at least, right? There's a limit to what we can understand. We can't really guess at other people's junk that they have going on that creates the conflict. But we're trying here. We're trying to understand, and making as intentional. We are moving. We're making movements. We're saying something. We're speaking up. But it's not going to be a flash. It's not going to be, you're hoping for this flash of insight. This is saying study, learn, make careful movements. And then where you're going, the Hermit. I like this. I like this. At the end of all of this, there's a retreat into yourself. There's a retreat away from expectations, from what other people need from you, from what other people want and other people expect. It's reminding me of part of this path here, this letting go of something, this influence. The Hermit drops anything influencing. The Hermit drops that, goes off on their own. They're going to be their own influence right now. So this is a possible, and getting on their own unique path. If they've strayed from their path, they're getting on their own unique path. So this is where you're going. This is a place, a possible outcome is that you reconnect with yourself, you reconnect with your own unique being, you reestablish your own unique path. This has to do with, you take a time out from other people that may be influencing you. And it could be a time of a solo time, a time of being single, a time of being just very focused on your heart and what the next step is. It's both of these together are talking about step by step, and this is step by step. This is step by step seeing the plan. This is step by step, very much your own unique path, and you can only really see a couple steps ahead at a time. But this is getting in touch with your own light and your unique path. But I don't see that there's going to be, you want the sudden insight, you want the sudden clarity. I don't see that happening. I see that only happening after some steps are made and you get back and you connect with your own self and your own true path here. There's a lot of solo behavior in here. There's like this group, there's this influence, and then you start moving alone, because there's not been a lot of happiness with the group. There's not been success with this reverse 10 of emotions, with some sort of group or some sort of influence. It's not been someone you've been hanging out with. I see this as there's a lot of solo work going on here. So not exactly the they're coming back reading that everybody craves, but it's the reading you got. All right, Capricorn. I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments, and I'll see you in a fortnight.